Well, good evening. It's Deanna Deloach Moses with the Balanced Mind and Theology YouTube channel of Division of Mental Health Empowerment Group. And tonight I'd like to educate people on a little bit of something that is not widely heard of, but I believe it's a topic that is becoming more popular today, a personality disorder entitled narcissistic personality disorder. So sometimes we hear people say, oh, he's not being narcissistic, or he's so narcissistic, or she's so narcissistic. But we don't really know exactly what the word means. We just say, or sometimes we're misinformed, and we say, oh, she has bipolar disorder, but actually they don't have bipolar disorder. They have a personality disorder, or they may have narcissistic personality disorder. So just because a person has a mental condition, we should educate ourselves first and find out exactly what type of condition it is that they may have, or just don't throw a label out there if you're not educated. So that's the purpose of my videos. My purpose is to balance your mind with education and to inform you about different mental illnesses, about theology, topics of Christianity, topics on education, English as a second language, culture, just to educate the viewer. So tonight, I'm talking about narcissistic personality disorder. What is narcissistic personality disorder? Well, actually, it fits the criteria for the DSM-5, and what it is it's dealing with a person who has a narcissism or a narcissist. It's someone who feels entitled. They're basically this is coming from the Mayo Clinic information. Their videos. Dr. Romney did a video on one, and this is my own articles and research I found off of the Mayo Clinic. But they basically feel entitled. They're basically a jerk, for the lack of a better words. They feel like uh, everybody is in their way. They feel like they own the world. They have a higher, superior image of themselves. They feel like they don't take things critically very well. This often affects their relationships with people, their relationships with money, their work relationships, their relationships with their spouse, because they feel so like everything belongs to them and everything is about it's their world. Everything should be revolve around them. So they have a high inflated image of themselves. However, really what they have is they have a low self-esteem. They have low image. They really feel deep down inside, if you were to peel them apart, you will find that they really do not love themselves that much, and they do not really care for themselves. So even though they put people down, they belittle people, they make you feel less than, they get angry, they fly off the handle easily. Even though they do this, really the problem is that they feel like they don't really love themselves. They don't have a good self image, and this came specifically from the fact that as they were growing up as children, their parents probably often made them feel like they were entitled. They were given well, in this age, cell phones early, but if they were like my age, like if they were in the 40s or 50s, they were given maybe a house phone. They were given cars at a young age. They were given every type of clothing, every type of, yeah, I remember Calvin Klein clothing, Oshkosh. They had all kinds of fancy clothes, and their parents made them feel entitled. So they felt like that their parents, instead of raising them in the correct way, their parents often raised them. Maybe this was something because there was lacking in their own and the parents' own self esteem, that trying to build their child up. So they gave up the child an inflated image of themselves. So that's where it comes from. So it's rooted in that, and basically if a person has narcissism personality disorder, or you suspect a person is a narcissist, uh, they're not going to get into treatment very well. They're not going to get into treatment. They're going to think that you have a problem. They often gaslight you. They often tell you, "Hey, you have a problem. I don't have a problem." They look at themselves and they view themselves as the other person always has a problem with a person who has narcissistic personality disorder. The spouse or the child or the best friend always has a problem more so than the individual. So it's hard to get them into therapy. The best way, medication really doesn't help them with this. The best thing that helps them is psychotherapy, which is talk therapy. To count a person who, a therapist who's trained in narcissism, who understands narcissism. Not everybody is trained in narcissism. So when you're looking for a therapist, whether it be for borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder, clinical depression, trauma, whatever you're looking for a therapist, make sure that person, excuse me, make sure that person is trained and what and called to what to do what they're called to do. I know myself very well, so whenever I'm looking for in market for a new therapist, I tell the people I have bipolar disorder. I'm very well versed in bipolar disorder and mental health and other mental health habits. I know good coping skills. I have a coaching certification in it, and I'm confident. And I need a person who's going to be confident too in their skills and not put me down or try to use me as a counseling puppet so that they can feel better about themselves. So I always tell them, so if you know yourself real well, you know, and you don't have to, if a person, if you're looking, this is just a side note, this is just a tidbit. If you're looking for a counselor and you don't fit right with that counselor, the first couple of 3 sessions or so, you can always change. There's nothing that says that you're ingrained to see that therapist all the time. You're not bound by a contract. So you can leave and go find you somebody who's a better fit. Sometimes personalities don't click. Sometimes race or culture doesn't click. So you can find somebody that fits better to with your situation or what you need. So this is somebody that's so it's the best way to get them into therapy for a person with narcissistic personality disorder, back to narcissism. Um, the best way is to try to get them in through the back door, because they're going to say, "I don't have a problem, girl. I don't have a problem, man. You got the problem, brother." So what you're going to do is you're going to have to get them in through maybe they're depressed, maybe they've been sleeping a lot, maybe they've been having marital problems, maybe they've been drinking a lot, maybe they've been dealing with weed or marijuana. Get them in through the back door that way, and then hopefully that therapist is trained and she or he can pull out and find out, oh, okay, I'm dealing with a narcissist here. And they will be, if they're trained, they will realize and they will recognize that person is a narcissist. Because sometimes people go misdiagnosed, they go or undiagnosed or wrong diagnosed, and so you want to make sure that person is diagnosed correctly. So I just want to encourage you that um, if you come into a problem of a person gaslighting you, you have to protect yourself. And that means setting up practical and great boundaries with that person. And if you're married to that person, you're going to have even a harder way of probably protecting yourself. But that means finding friends who are safe with you, who you feel safe with. You need to find somebody to build up your self-esteem, because that person who has narcissism is going to try to tear you down. So you need to be around friends who build you up. You need to find support groups that encourage you. You need to find support groups, NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, or if you have a condition, if you have a heart disease or something, find a heart disease support group, or find a support group or a church community, a place where you can feel safe, because you're going to have to kind of distance yourself a little bit from that person who has narcissism, because they will affect you and they will get into your head and make you think you're the problem, and actually they are the person who has the problem. So some examples of people who I see on TV, a lot of people who know me know I love the Jacksons. I love Michael Jackson. He was my favorite singer, and I often watch his nephews now, 3T. They have a show, Tito's Sons, and I watched their show, and I think Terrell's wife, a girlfriend, or fiance, whatever she's supposed to be, I think she is a narcissist. I think she has narcissistic personality disorder. Just by looking at her, she's always entitled. And he asked her on the reality show, "Hey, are you allergic to going to work? I work. Are you allergic to going to work?" And she said, "You mean I gotta go to work now? I gotta go to work?" Well, yeah, she gotta go to work. I mean, the woman's 40 years old, probably. She needs to go to work. And I think the woman wants to live off the man's money because he's a Jackson. I don't think she really loves him now. All of a sudden in the video, on the show, she's saying that she wants to get married. She's not. She doesn't know how to communicate. That's something else. A narcissist, they don't communicate very well. They don't communicate very well. She always put him down, and he will try to show her points, and he accepts who he is and his bad habits, but she never sees anything wrong with her. Nothing is wrong with her. He. And that's something that a narcissist does. They always are pointing the finger. You. And they will put you down. So personally, and after I watched that episode today, I felt like he needs to really let her go and just kick her to the curb big time and work on himself and work on strengthening who he is as a man so that he can find the right woman for him. So she's somebody. Another person, I think, I'm going to be honest, and I'm not an ordained minister yet, so I can go ahead and say it. I think our president is a narcissist. I think President Trump is a narcissist. So I hope Brianna from 3T is watching this video. I hope President Donald Trump is a narcissist. I think he has narcissistic personality disorder. You want to know what kind of personality disorder I think he has? I think about mental illness he has. I think he has a personality disorder called narcissistic. He's a jerk. He's mean. He's downright degrading to people. He's always putting people down. He wants his own birthday holiday now. I mean, he just always has an inflated sense of himself. So he's always talking about himself and trying to make himself look good. I think he has narcissistic personality disorder. So those are some people I believe that have narcissistic personality disorder. So you probably, if you come around them, make sure, like I said, that you protect yourself. You get in good circles. You surround yourself with people who actually really do love you, really do care for you. You try to sneak them into therapy through the back door, but ultimately you might have to just separate yourself from that person. If you're married to that person, you might have to divorce them. I'm an advocate for divorce. I know a lot of people say, no, don't divorce. Christians shouldn't say divorce, but sometimes you have to protect yourself. And if you finding out that somebody is a narcissist and they're putting you down and verbally abusive to you, I think that's ground for divorce, and I think God won't allow that. So I'm here to say that I think that should be the case. But anyway, surround yourself with protect your boundaries, protect yourself. Get them in through the back door by marriage problems or whatever. And I hope that this educated you a little bit. They feel entitled. They feel like they have an inflated sense of self. They will belittle you. And basically, they're just overall, like Dr. Rami said, a jerk. They're just a jerk. So that's what narcissistic personality disorder is. I hope I've educated you. I hope I've informed you, enlightened you. If you'd like to find out more about mental health topics, continue to watch my videos. I make them every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evening between 5 and 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I am starting my own. I'm going by faith, guys. I'm really excited. I'm going to go ahead and launch my mental health coaching business. I've got a couple of clients coming forth in January. I'm so excited. And if you're interested, reach out to me on my Facebook page or on my YouTube or this channel, or either on my website, mentalhealthempowermentgroup.org, and reach out to me and let me know you're interested in some coaching, so we can work out a schedule, get you on the schedule, and get you feeling good for the new year. I was feeling a little discouraged today, having a little mental health battle myself. Reached out for my coping skills, listening to music, coloring, making videos, talking on the phone, sleeping, taking a nap, playing with my kitty cat, going upstairs on a 4th floor lounge, watching 3T, and just doing some things and practicing self-care. So if you're feeling discouraged during the holidays, if you're feeling like the holidays are overwhelming you, then practice some self-care. Take a good bubble bath tonight. Practicing self-care does not just mean taking bubble baths or going to get a massage, although it can include that. But sometimes eating right, going for a walk. I went for a walk today. Do things that will help build up your mental health, and try to color, try to listen to some music, try to relax, and try to just take a break from all the stress of the holidays. Well, this is Deanna Deloach Moses reminding you there's no health without mental health. And I hope I'll see you next week. And we'll work on maybe some goal setting skills for the New Year's resolutions for 2026. Well, you have a good night. My kitty cat has joined us in. She always enjoys hearing Mama's videos. And I think that they are a blessing to those viewers. So you have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.